Eat, pray, love, or eat, love, pray. What do you do first? You eat first, then you do a little praying, and then you do a little fucking.
I don't know.
That looks horrible.
No, it looks good.
It's a chick. It's a chick thing. You know, we're not supposed to.
flick.
We're not supposed to understand that one. I don't think.
No.
Nah.
You not find it, Danny?
No, I got it now.
What happened was I did a goof review on Red Eye last Monday.
So, can we hear the goof review before you do part 2 of this, Jimmy?
Yes.
Okay. Good.
I wouldn't object. By the way, here's the setup.
But you're setting it up by saying you purposely were doing a goof review of Eat, Pray, Love.
Greg had said to me, Gutfeld emailed me, goes, look, I would love you to be my Eat, Pray, Love correspondent. Because I'm so wrong for it. And it was before the movie had come out. I had obviously not seen the movie. So it was a goof segment that I was going to review the film.
And that's where the comedy comes in.
Well, let's hope,
the
guys.
comedy. All right, here's Jimmy goof reviewing Eat, Pray, Love. Everyone knew that.
On Red Eye last Monday.
On Red Eye last Monday. Oh, hold on a minute.
Nice, huh? It's sensuous, succulent, and life-affirming. And it opens this Friday. I speak of that movie, Eat, Pray, Love. It's a liberating tale of a woman's year-long trip to 3 far-flung countries of the world. The character, played by Julia Roberts, finds herself embarking on a search for pleasure, spiritual enlightenment as a way to find balance in her life. It's not just a travelogue, really. It's an empowering story of self-fulfillment. With me now is Jim Norton, our Eat, Pray, Love correspondent. Jim, by the way, thank you for becoming our Eat, Pray, Love correspondent.
Thank you for asking me, Greg.
Well, you know what? You were the first person I thought of because I think,
should have been.
Yeah, you've been preparing for weeks for this movie, haven't you?
I really have been. I've been meditating on the toilet and puncturing my own testicles.
Yeah, really. Interesting. Now, the movie begins. She's a wreck. The Julia Roberts character's a wreck. She's bankrupt. Her wedding's over, and she just says, "You know what? I'm going to get up and I'm going to leave." What kind of message does this send to American women?
It's important, Greg, because it says that no matter how lousy a wife you are or how bad an employee, how horrible you are with money, there's always time for a vacation.
Yes, exactly.
Just get up, go to Karachi.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, she goes to Italy, and you know what she does? She savors the simple Italian foods on her first date. She eats a lot of gelato.
She really does. And then there's that wonderful scene at the end where she's vomiting gelato and Jägermeister into a gutter.
Yeah, it's interesting, you know. A lot of movies wouldn't show that.
No, but they do, and then Eric Roberts comes over and overacts again. It's really a nice moment.
It's unusual, because they're related, yet they share a love scene.
Yes.
Which makes no sense.
Yeah, and yet he stayed here, and she went way up there. It's really comforting for both of them.
Now, she takes a language course.
She does.
Yes.
Through a series of wacky mishaps.
Yes.
She has to say, it's an emergency, where's the toilet, in 40 different languages.
Really? That's so beautiful, though.
Really
she does find the toilet.
Well, half the time she does, half the time she has to improvise, Greg. Hats, fields, whatever she can. Steins. Oh, that Julia. She's charming no matter what she does. A hole in the ice in Alaska. Oh, God love her.
She discovers yoga. She goes to meditate, and she approaches spirituality with skepticism, and then she's won over, isn't she?
She does. I was the first one to start clapping what she really did. Because I didn't know if she was going to overcome.
Yeah, you had no idea, did you?
Oh, it was heartbreaking, these yoga scenes, and I'm sipping my chamomile tea, and I'm lactating, and I'm thinking about my vagina and motherhood.
Yeah.
And then she finally realized what she was supposed to realize.
Yeah.
I don't want to blow it for everybody, but really, it was
Well, what happens at the end of the movie? I mean, I don't want to spoil it for everybody, but does she finally find her true love?
She really does. She goes to India, and she begins traipsing barefoot through the slums and falls in love with the smell of garbage and a man with 1 foot.
Oh, wow. See, it doesn't matter if you are missing a foot. Is that the message?
That is the message, because she holds up his good one, and she goes, this is going to go, too. And then she kisses it, and the film ends. She's marvelous.
Did you smell Oscar?
Oh, Greg, this is the finest film I've ever been forced to sit through at gunpoint.
Yeah.
It really was wonderful.
All right. Well, you know what? We're going to close things out with a post-game wrap-up from TV's Andy Levy.
And that was obviously
Dude, fucking hilarious.
Thank
first
you.
of all,
Obviously a ludicrous review of a film I had not seen.
And someone took it seriously on their blog.
Well, before she's a
Why would you
blogging-
take that seriously?
What happened to feminism? Like, I guess they were always a little take themselves too seriously, but I would love to get her on the phone. Her name is what's her name? Danny, the one who wrote that. Not even to yell at her, but I really don't want to. Sarah, I can't. Sarah Arboleda. I would love to just talk to her and go like, how do you not understand that the comedy, whether you thought it was funny or not, that's a subjective thing, but it was in the ludicrousness of the review.
Yeah, it was obvious a comedy thing.
It's like in The Jerk, when he goes, "Damn these glasses, son," and Steve Martin points at them and goes, "Okay, I damn thee."
Yeah.
That's a ludicrous thing to happen. It's not ever going to happen.
Yes.
So maybe Steve, if he's listening, can we look for her?
Yes.
So what did she write there, Jimmy?
I don't have it in front.
I have her on the phone from Australia.
She wrote, oh, it's long. I don't want to read the whole thing.
Where's the part?
Can I have it printed out? I'll say I have no desire to read Eat, Pray, Love when it was a book, and I have even less desire to see it now that it's been made into a film. So she has not read it or seen it.
Okay.
I was content to argue that my lack of interest was because, for whatever reason, the film just doesn't appeal to me. But after hearing comedian Jim Norton's sexist review of the movie, I'm beginning to worry that it has something to do with the stigma attached to lady films, especially lady films in which the lady in question is trying to find herself, not just get a man. And then she goes into her favorite film of all time is Stand By Me. I would really like to edit this. And then at the bottom, she bashes, fuck. I don't want to just paraphrase because I don't want to rob what she's. I'll have to read it. I can't.
All right, so we'll have to go back to this, I guess.
My favorite movie of all time is Stand By Me, and while I vehemently argue that it's because the film is so perfectly encapsulates the moment of childhood right before gender really starts to matter, I also admit that I hated explicitly female counterpart now and then with a passion. We already know that female comedians are absent from the big screen, but what about dramatic actresses? Is that female protagonists are less interesting, or just less interesting films are typically made about them? I know that this is hardly a groundbreaking argument, but Norton's comments infuriated me. If for no other reason than because he seems to suggest that a woman's spiritual journey of self-discovery is frivolous, irresponsible, and worst of all, boring.
It is boring.
It is boring.
Shut it.
But what annoys
Coming
me,
from where we sit.
But this is again her. I don't have the agenda. This chick does.
You were fucking around.
A movie about self-discovery, regardless of gender, is boring to me. And for her to assume that it's because it's a woman, it made her angry as a woman. Wow, that's real female empowerment. Have a great sense of humor. Then she goes, first, there's Norton's completely unoriginal misogyny about the unimportance of a woman's self-discovery. And it was like, you dummy. To think that that was about a woman's self-discovery being unimportant when I am making fun of the film I haven't seen.
Yeah.
And then she goes into the chamomile tea and the lactating line. Yawn, we get it. Women's films are boring.
Oops.
There was more. I'm sorry. There we go.
Okay, yawn, we get it. Women's films are boring and they're all about emotions and junk. Where were the guns? Where were the nameless hot chicks? And it's like...
At my house.
If you only knew the kind of films almost every film I love does not have nudity in it, you dummy. It's like she's annoyed about a movie review of a film, a book she has not read, a film she has not seen, about a comedian that she obviously knows very little about. And she's not doing it in humor. She's seriously angry. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's fucked up.
And it goes on, and I don't want to paraphrase it.
On and on.
But it's just like, that's what you deal with. Like, what happened to fucking... Feminists just annoy me. I've never met a funny feminist. But this is what they are. It's like this self-righteous, like, hey, Bob, women's self-discovery is not to be ridiculed.
I'm just getting a kick out of reading your quotes. I just heard it. I just heard it on the clip we played. But to read your quotes and then her reacting to it is simply insanity.
And then she misquoted me. And then there's that wonderful scene where she vomits gelato and Jägermeister into a butter. Why would she vomit into a butter, you dummy?
Gutter, stupid. Oh, my God.
She said the most appalling of Norton's assertions is that Roberta's character, based on the novel's author, Elizabeth Gilbert, is just a bad, irresponsible person trying to escape from her failure as a woman. And then it's important, Gray, because no matter how bad of a wife you are, no matter how horrible of an employee, first of all, where is the thing about failure as a woman? I say this because she's divorced and unemployed. So I'm addressing each point, and the fact that she was a wife, well, that's because she's a woman. But I say employee and how horrible you are with money. Those are not gender specific. I am making fun of I'm answering the question that Greg asked me.
Right.
I wish she was on the... Can we get her? Have you heard that or no? Are you just hearing this now?
No, I'm looking for the name.
But I said it 10 minutes ago on the air.
I know you said it. I don't know how to spell it. Thank you.
Well, how come we just do it?
You want me to scroll up so you can see? Thank you.
I said this 10 minutes ago.
No, you didn't say it.
I did.
Yeah,
Thank
right
you.
when we
Later. Thank you.
right when we started. the segment.
Yes, I got it now.
I know, but 10 minutes ago we were trying to. Can we find her?
Or the segment, whatever.
Oh, God.
Mind-boggling.
Come on, Steve.
I mean, there was a 3.5-minute clip that we played, and he could have been in here while we were playing the clip. Whatever.
Or just Googled the same thing I told Danny to Google.
Yes.
Did I do that on the air or off the air?
But you could really kind of find it.
You
We
could,
did say the name.
if you're the producer, you can find shit. You have to be able to find shit. So.
And that's how you. What's the name?
I could find her number. It's just that, you know, it's either what's. I only
Yeah,
have
yeah.
one
Can you
screen to
find her
work
number?
with.
Can you
Yeah,
try?
could
I
probably do
appreciate it.
that.
No, I didn't. Oh my God.
Let's go to Jeff in Cleveland. Jeff.
Hey, yeah, they only make these kind of films about self-discovery and spirituality about women.
Well,
They
maybe.
They never make them about guys. I couldn't name one that isn't at least a biopic, and the reason why is because they're too boring. Only women would sit through this crap.
Yeah. But to imply that it was based in misogyny, instead of just this is a boring concept to me because it's a boring concept. Her assuming that she knew where I was coming from was being misogynistic is what drives me fucking crazy. It's so irritating.
And what's the movie about? She eats some good things.
I don't know.
She finds some spirituality.
I don't know any
and a
more
few,
than she does.
And a few lovers over there. And that makes her a better person when she comes back to
and then
America?
It's wonderful. Yeah, then it's fantastic.
Okay.
If you made the movie with Anthony Bourdain or something, then I might watch because that'd be cynical and funny.
And wouldn't the movie do better if it was a frump in the lead role instead of Julia
Well, why
Roberts?
wouldn't
We're
it?
supposed to think a hot piece of ass like Julia Roberts would have all this shit going wrong?
She's getting to be frump.
A little long in the
territory,
tooth?
Yeah. Yeah,
Or
she's
maybe-
definitely in
She's still
frump
all right,
territory.
man. She's still
Or
all
maybe a
right.
female
Although she has a
comic,
witch's nose.
Dude, I gotta admit that fucking perfume stuff killed my throat.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
Oh, wow.
Well, I didn't spray it. So
That's a drag.
It just like I feel
Really?
right at the base of my throat where my nose and throat like meet.
Oh, man.
It's like and then I drank my water and it had some in it. I guess it had settled.
All right, cool. Maybe Steve will send them out to sell the cologne soon.
Steve.
Are you mad at Steve?
Someone said
I'm annoyed because to me that's just like, come on, man. We were doing this segment. We should have been on this a few minutes ago. And if you can't get her, I understand that it's last minute. But to only come in at that point and ask does bother me. Yeah.
Someone said Steve just doesn't know how to call a woman.
All right. I mean, everyone wants to talk about fishing, but we got to take a break because Sarah, the blogger, took our invitation.
Good.
She's calling the show today.
That's
from
nice.
yesterday. Remember?
Yes.
She blogged about my review on Red Eye of Eat, Pray, Love. And my issue with her is not that she didn't think it's funny. Let me say that right from the get-go. I have no issue with somebody not thinking something's funny. That's
Whatever, right.
Yeah, and come on. It's
But
comedy
you got to
subjective.
understand that the guy is going for some laughs and not serious.
Yeah.
And she seemed to not get that point. Can we replay the review out of break so it's fresh in everyone's mind? Yeah, and then we'll go right to her. All right.
Okay.
So you'll hear Jimmy's review once again from Red Eye. It's worth playing again because it was really, really funny. And right after that, we'll have Sarah on who just try to, kill you.
She wasn't happy.
Yeah, she wasn't happy with you being funny for some reason.
She was displeased.
So we'll get to the bottom of that in a few minutes.
On the Opie and Anthony Show. 866-WOW. That's 866-969-1969. Sirius XM. The virus. Yeah, this is the Opie and Anthony Show. Damn it.
Wow, and I'm not even hungry. That was nice, huh? It's sensuous, succulent, and life-affirming. And it opens this Friday. I speak of that movie, Eat, Pray, Love. It's a liberating tale of a woman's year-long trip to 3 far-flung countries of the world. The character, played by Julia Roberts, finds herself embarking on a search for pleasure, spiritual enlightenment as a way to find balance in her life. It's not just a travelogue, really. It's an empowering story of self-fulfillment. With me now is Jim Norton, our Eat, Pray, Love correspondent. Jim, by the way, thank you for becoming our Eat, Pray, Love correspondent.
Thank you for asking me, Greg.
Well, you know what? You were the first person I thought of because
I
I think
should have been.
Yeah, you've been preparing for weeks for this movie, haven't you?
I really have been. I've been meditating on the toilet and punching my own testicles.
Yeah, really. Interesting. Now, then the movie begins. She's a wreck. The Julia Roberts character's a wreck. She's bankrupt. Her wedding's over, and she just says, "You know what? I'm going to get up and I'm going to leave." What kind of message does this send to American women?
It's important, Greg, because it says that no matter how lousy a wife you are or how bad an employee, how horrible you are with money, there's always time for vacation.
Yes, exactly.
Just get up, go to Karachi.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, she goes to Italy, and you know what she does? She savors the simple Italian foods on her first date. She eats a lot of gelato.
She really does. And then there's that wonderful scene at the end where she's vomiting gelato and Jägermeister into a gutter.
Yeah, it's interesting, you know. A lot of movies wouldn't show that.
No, but they do, and then Eric Roberts comes over and overacts again. It's really a nice moment.
It's unusual, because they're related, yet they share a love scene.
Yes.
Which makes no sense.
Yeah, and yet he stayed here, and she went way up there. It's really comforting for both of them.
Now, she takes a language course.
She does.
Yes.
Through a series of wacky mishaps.
Yes.
She has to say, it's an emergency, where's the toilet, in 40 different languages.
Really? Oh, that's so beautiful, though.
Really
she does find the toilet.
Oh, thank God. Half the time she does, half the time she has to improvise, Greg. Hats, fields, whatever she can. Steins. Oh, that Julia. She's charming no matter what she does. A hole in the ice in Alaska. Oh, God love her.
She discovers yoga. She goes to meditate, and she approaches spirituality with skepticism, and then she's won over, isn't she?
She does. I was the first one to start clapping what she really did. Because I didn't know if she was going to overcome.
Yeah, you had no idea, did you?
Oh, it was heartbreaking, these yoga scenes, and I'm sipping my chamomile tea, and I'm lactating, and I'm thinking about my vagina and motherhood.
Yeah.
And then she finally realized what she was supposed to realize.
Yeah.
I don't want to blow it for everybody, but really, it was inspiring.
Well, what happens at the end of the movie? I mean, I don't want to spoil it for everybody, but does she finally find her true love?
She really does. She goes to India, and she begins traipsing barefoot through the slums and falls in love with the smell of garbage and a man with one foot.
Oh, wow. See, it doesn't matter if you are missing a foot. Is that the message?
That is the message, because she holds up his good one, and she goes, this is going to go, too. And then she kisses it, and the film ends. She's marvelous.
Did you smell Oscar?
Oh, Greg, this is the finest film I've ever been forced to sit through at gunpoint.
Yes.
It really was wonderful.
All right. Well, you know what? We're going to close things out with a post-game wrap-up from TV's Andy Levy. Yeah.
And that's Jim Norton with a very funny review of Eat, Pray, Love.
Thank you.
And it led to Sarah writing a whole blog about it. Why is Eat, Pray, Love a joke?
It's Sarah Arboleda. I'm going to guess this is how you say the last name.
Arboleda. Yeah, we got her on the hotline right here. Sarah, welcome to the Opie and Anthony Show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Hi. Now, Jimmy was very confused by your blog. We got Jim Norton across the way from me here.
Yeah, it didn't. Let me start, Sarah, by saying it wasn't about you thinking it was funny or not funny. That's a completely subjective opinion. So if something didn't strike you as funny, that's, it is what it is. But my question is, why the reaction? Like, did you not understand that I had not seen this film and it was a ludicrous review?
Oh, no, absolutely. The premise that you had not seen the film. I mean, I haven't seen it either. And to be fair, I did find it funny. It was funny. But, no, it was going off of the concept that having not seen the film, having only seen the trailers and the awful advertising for it, that it was coming across as, just another one of those silly movies where women find themselves. And that was the part I was having the problem with.
Well, I'll be honest. I mean, that's really not what the intent was. It was just to be ludicrous. But self-discovery, I am bored with it, and it does focus more on women. But that's even the self-help section of a bookstore. There's very little. You may have Male Sexuality by Bernie Ziegfeld and a few other books, but it's all about women's self-discovery. And that whole journey thing kind of bores me at this point.
And I agree, but I think that there's a special category where you look at a woman's self-discovery as being somehow less serious or boring or less important, because I would argue, and this isn't spoiling the film for anyone, but what is Inception if not a movie about two people finding themselves and, discovering their bad relationships with their fathers or their kids or their wives or whatever? And I kind of feel the same way that you do about women's films. If I have to see another movie with a 40-year-old man in a shitty marriage with a shitty wife and shitty kids who's miserable and tired and, he has a bad job or whatever, I'm going to shoot myself.
But you misunderstood where the point I was coming from. It's almost like because you were looking at, I guess, from a point of view of feminism, you made my agenda what was actually your agenda, which was because you say, like, first there's Norton's complete. Like, why would my comments infuriate you if you knew it was coming from a silly place, a place of ludicrousness, where I had not seen the film? And at one point in your review, you say, but Norton's criticism seems to have almost nothing to do with the film itself. That doesn't say to me that you really knew that I was just being absurd.
No, I mean, I recognize the absurdity of the review. Obviously, the whole thing with the one-legged guy has reached a level of farce that has nothing to do with the movie. My concern was more from that place of it is funny, but it's still making fun of that concept of a woman's journey of self-discovery. And I know you're saying it doesn't have anything specifically to do with women.
No.
But that concept of like, you know, I was thinking about my vagina and I was thinking about motherhood and I was lactating and so forth. It suggests that it is in some ways partly about the silliness of a woman's self-discovery.
No, it was about the silliness of this film. It's like, don't you understand that when you start reading into things that are being made fun of and looking for the greater cause or the greater motive, I mean, you can find any motive in me that you want to if you look hard enough. And the reality is, I'm telling you, because I'm the guy that said it, I really didn't know what the movie was about. I was kind of going off of Greg's questions. Like when he said to me, there's one point where you say perhaps the most appalling of all this is Norton's assertion that Robert's character is just a bad, irresponsible person trying to escape from her failures as a woman. Because I said it's important, Greg, because that it says that no matter how bad of a wife you are, and no matter how horrible of an employee or how bad you are with money. That was just going off of Greg's question, because he said this person was divorced, and this person was out of work, and this person. So the thing for me was just to be funny and say go on a vacation. Had nothing to do with her failing as a woman. It didn't even occur to me.
And I see the fairness in that, but then it still doesn't explain the comments about the lactation and the vagina.
I'll tell you in all honesty, they were the same as the comments about the man with one foot. To me, that was a funny thing to say. To me, it was a joke to think that I was there clapping wildly and lactating because I don't have, well, female breasts. I kind of have man ones.
But I conjure up a funny image.
It's a funny image, just like so is kissing. It's like you're accepting the absurdity of kissing a foot in a slum in India and saying, okay, this one's going to go next. But you're not just accepting that it's absurd that I was lactating and contemplating being a mother.
Are you saying then that you don't feel that there were any sexist undertones to what you were saying?
No. First of all, sexism is just like, what does that even mean in humor? I mean, why not just say that I was classist because I was making fun of poor people in India? And then you take me for task on saying go to Karachi, which was just an odd place for anyone to want to go on vacation because that's where Daniel Pearl was beheaded. It's like you're reading into sex and gender issues when I have also attacked cop buddy movies and made fun of every type of movie. It's like you're going into my motives, which you were incorrect about.
And I accept that. I think my underlying problem is that have you seen the box office results for it?
It was probably very good. I think The Expendables beat it, but I think that Julia Roberts is a huge box office draw. What'd she do? Like I want to say 30 million, something like that.
I think it did like 22.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, but the thing that people reported on was that The Expendables did better than Eat, Pray, Love, and both of them are being called bad movies. But The Expendables did better than Eat, Pray, Love simply because women are more likely to go with their male partners to go see an action film than male partners are going to go with their female partners to see something like Eat, Pray, Love.
Possibly.
Not even possibly.
I do think
that's true.
Well, and I do think that in part, although your comments were ridiculous, and I accept that, and I did find them funny. I'm not saying that I sat there, raging with feminism with Rosie the Riveter behind me. But I will say that I think it does betray a certain underlying thing of women are less serious or they're boring as main protagonists.
No, that's honestly, it doesn't betray that at all. And if you thought it was funny, that's cool. But there's nowhere in this review where you say like, oh, look, I thought it was funny, but this seems like it's coming from a place of just this really upset and offended me. And there's one part where you say about, instead, this seems like a platform for Norton to gripe about the dullness and unimportance of independent female protagonists. I wasn't even thinking of that. Like, I mean, it wasn't like I was attacking all women who are the leads in films. Julia Roberts is a very good actress. I think Meryl Streep's a great actress. There's plenty of great actresses. Kathy Bates, great I mean, I can go down the list of people who I think are very talented. Nothing to do with that. It was just, to me, another drippy movie. I don't want to see it. And I don't want to see one about a guy touching his sensitive side. And when you thought I was like loving the guns and stuff, my favorite movies are Cuckoo's Nest, Clockwork Orange, The Godfather. There's no tits in any of those movies. Except maybe Clockwork Orange, or one big nice pair of tits. But
The Godfather.
Well, please, Apollonia for a half a second. He doesn't even get to touch him, and then she blows up in the car. That's not exactly a sexy scene, other than to maybe Suicide Bombers, which would tie in with a little Karachi reference. But you say it's attitudes like this that keep more films with female leads from being made. That's not true. What keeps any type of film from being made is box office. That's what keeps films from being made. And I'm not saying that that's right, but that's what keeps fucking ugly people from getting the leads in romantic movies, too. It's the box office.
Oh, absolutely. And that was the comment that I was making, that because men do not want to go see these movies, you have fewer people going to see them. Women have to see them alone or see them with their friends. And as a result, the box office draw is smaller. And part of what my blog had been about was that I'm uncomfortable with the fact that that is often my mentality as well. That I have no desire to go see this movie. I have no desire to go read this book. My favorite movie is Stand By Me or Reservoir Dogs. All of these male-centric films, because they're well made and I enjoy them. And oftentimes the films with women are sappy or drippy, and it bothers me that I feel this way.
If I see one more movie with four or five women drinking wine, listening to old music, and dancing in their living room, I will throw up. That to me, if I see that in a trailer, I actually get angry that someone has done that again. And I don't think it has anything to do with being misogynistic. It has to do with me not wanting to see a lousy movie. It's not a sexist undertone or anything like that. It just looks like a movie. And I actually say it aloud to people in the room. I go, I will never see that movie. And it really doesn't have anything to do with some grand scheme of misogynistic thinking. It just looks awful.
And I agree. I mean, that is my opinion as well. That I had to sit through The Holiday a couple of years back with Cameron Diaz and Kate Winslet.
Sorry.
And I wanted to shoot myself. It was awful.
Yeah.
But Sarah, if you're bothered by the same things, obviously, that Aunt just said, why wouldn't you like where this review came from then? If I'm shitting on a genre that has kind of pegged women as just being this, like the fact that I'm mocking that or mocking the film, why wouldn't you go, whether or not you think it's funny, why would you go, oh, that's cool. He's mocking what has become the only thing that's acceptable for women to be the lead in?
Well, because I don't think that that's true, first of all. I mean, Kill Bill obviously did very well.
Great film, right, both of them.
Yeah, and I love them. And, I mean, but I don't love them because they star women. However, what I was going to say was I felt that, and clearly I was mistaken, and I do apologize for putting your words out of context, but I felt that the comment about the vagina or the lactation, that it again, and I'm repeating myself here, but that it was suggesting in general, especially because you had not seen the movie, that it was just going to be another one of those silly films.
But I was, not to interrupt you, but I was to a certain point saying that, but it wasn't coming from a place of, just like you didn't like Kill Bill just because it stars women, I didn't want to make fun of this movie just because it was about a woman. Of course it is about a woman. I'm not saying I'm not going to bring that into it. I'd be dishonest not to. But that was not, this to me was no more make funnable than say, what was the movie about wine, Ope, that you saw with the guys?
Oh, God.
Sideways?
Yeah, that movie. Like, if they would have asked me to review that and I knew what it was about, I would have mocked it. I had no desire to see that movie.
Actually, that was a great movie.
Yeah, I've heard it was good, but
it really was a good movie.
My desire to see that wasn't there.
Sure.
And you misquoted me on one thing. You said there's a wonderful scene where she vomits gelato and Jägermeister into a butter. I said into a gutter, because into a butter would be a horrible joke. But I
stole the quotes from Film Drunk.
Oh, really? Okay.
Right. I
link the video.
I'm still confused. I think you didn't realize that Jimmy was just mocking and joking and having fun with the review of the film.
No, I mean, at the risk of repeating myself again and sounding sort of
If you repeat yourself again, we hang up on you.
Yes, sir. I think I understood completely the tenor of the review, what was being said, the fact that Mr. Norton clearly had not seen it. I still come back to the word choice that was used. And again, I understand that, it was a ridiculous thing because clearly he doesn't have a vagina and he doesn't lactate and he doesn't drink chamomile tea or do yoga.
Right.
And these are absurd images. But that, I don't know, that I still felt like it was an image of women that women themselves don't want to project, and that I'm aware that it was supposed to be an attack on the film.
I tapped out because, quite frankly, I was a little bored by it. But what do you want from films as far as women go? What kind of movie would you like Hollywood to make for women?
I'm happy. I mean, I'm happy to see films like Kill Bill. I had no desire to see Salt because it just looks stupid. But I don't want necessarily women to be portrayed in a lovely way or a fantastic way at all times. I want to see more complex characters. And I want to see something like Stand By Me for Women that isn't Now and Then, which was fucking awful. I want to see movies about women that do not necessarily have to do all the goddamn time with them being women.
Oh, like those, the Traveling Pants. What was the name of that one?
Yeah, the Sisters of Yahoo, Yaya Sisterhood.
So those type of movies drive you nuts, right?
Right, because it's always about your discovery of, tampons or whatever.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? Your issue
is
with Hollywood, and I don't disagree with it. But what happens is with feminism or any type of quote-unquote special interest, where they go wrong, I think, is they begin to take themselves too seriously and to look for, again, that greater good or that in every single thing, like PETA members who cannot make fun of animal suffering, or Black Panther members that cannot make fun of, or Republicans that cannot make fun of religion, or whatever the cause is. It's like, why can't somebody who's a very strong feminist, who believes very much in blue is not for boys, pink is not for girls, think a misogynistic joke is funny? A misogynistic boss grabbing your ass is not funny, because that's a lifestyle thing. But to think that humor makes life a certain way is completely inaccurate. Comedy is, to me, taking what we see in life and mocking it. It's not life imitating art. It's really not that.
Mm-hmm.
But then I will say this, like, I love Louis C.K., and he is incredibly misogynistic in his humor.
That's great.
And what you just said about how it is often art imitating life, well, then your comments were still a reflection on how most people see these movies or how most people see this kind of movie.
Well, you know what? You're very similar to us. I'm starting to think that you might have just been on the rag that day when you wrote that blog.
Jesus.
Because I'm serious though, because you're in our wheelhouse. I mean, you like Louis and stuff, so you're not this over the top feminist.
No,
Who
and
are
the
you?
site isn't.
I'm confused by you,
either.
Huh?
The site isn't supposed to be about that either.
Well, I came across that a little bit in this particular blog.
Only in this one, because you said that Norton's comments infuriated me. And it's like, if for no other reason than because he seems to suggest that a woman's spiritual journey of self-discovery is frivolous, irresponsible. The thing is, though, I was kind of saying the same thing about this movie that you seem to be thinking, ugh, another one of these. You didn't want to read it. You didn't want to see it. But because there was a guy making fun of it and being ludicrous and even having a misogynistic tone in some of the... Of course I would have a misogynistic tone in certain jokes, but that doesn't mean that I'm a misogynist or I wouldn't make fun of men with the same harshness.
Oh, no, and that was the one thing that I regret that did not come across in that I was not calling you a sexist, but rather that I thought the comments were sexist. And as you've already said, they're just reflecting societal attitudes. So... just that, I mean, it is hard, and a big part of the other part that I wish had come across a little bit stronger was that, yes, I feel this way too, and it makes me uncomfortable as a woman.
I had a feeling that you'd be cool to talk to for some reason. It's like, I wasn't mad at you. I was like, again, somebody thinking I'm funny or not thinking I'm funny, I totally accept. But my only suggestion is you're right. Well, I think it's like, whatever your opinions are cool, but I just wish that feminists, because I agree with a lot of what feminism stands for. it just seems to me that as a movement, quote unquote, or as a thought process or an ideology, as things have gotten better, the arguments cannot be like, say, what they were in 1971. So the focus has shifted to a lot of harping on people's humor or harping on what people say as jokes or portrayed as. It's almost like it's become about unimportant things and scolding people as opposed to changing what are real attitudes.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that the big focuses need to be on the real issues like the wage gap or what have you, or advertising for women. And I do a lot of, in my other articles, I do a lot of work calling bullshit feminists out. So this was perhaps a misstep for me where I was kind of going down the wrong path with being, the angry feminist, because that's never how you want to kind of come across, because you're always going to come across as a zealot and someone who can't be reasoned with.
Well, let me give you a plug on the site, because there's a lot of stuff on the site.
Before that, Jimmy,
right.
I think she owes you an apology. Sarah, I think it's only right.
Agreed. All right.
I want to hear a nice apology, please.
That's Opie.
Oh, hi.
Am I making you uncomfortable? Sarah, can you please apologize to Jim Norton? He's a very sensitive boy.
Well, I do apologize. It does seem like I took the comments out of context, and that I clearly have not offended you, but made it seem as though you were something that you were not, and you were saying something that you were not.
Thank you, Sarah. It was very nice. Let me plug this site.
If you were in the office, I'd give you a nice pinch on the hiney.
That's Opie. He'd give your fanny a pinch.
Jesus.
Lovely.
It's one word. It's zeldalily.com. ZELDALILY.com. And where are you? I was reading, our producer gave us a little bit of a bio on you. It said that you want to are you in college now? You want to come to the East Coast in the U.S.?
Yeah, I'm up in Vancouver, BC in Canada.
Okay.
And I'm hoping to come out to the East Coast for grad school.
All right, well, she was very nice. And
Sarah was all right.
It was nice talking to you, Sarah.
All right, thank you for having me on.
Thanks.
All right, take care.
Good job.
You too.
Bye.
All right.
That was very uncomfortable.
That was really
He
uncomfortable.
apologized. She was nice.
She owes you an apology.
But you know what?
It's weird, though, because if she likes Louis C.K., then I don't even know why she wrote that article.
Because people have these weird gut reactions, and it's like when I read something about myself, sometimes I get very angry, and this didn't make me angry because it was like, again, it wasn't about me being funny or not funny, but it was like, sometimes when you just talk to people a little bit, it's not as bad as it.
It's always if we just talk things out as a society,
and the fact that she was
how many things we could overcome.
Well, I think the problem is what's infuriating when people don't even get the basics down of what they're writing about.
Yeah.
It was obvious that you were just goofing, and I don't think she realized that until she heard it again before she came on the air and discussed it with you.
Yeah.
She really thought you were serious.
I don't know what she looks.
What's she look like?
I don't know what she.
Can't find a pic of her, huh?
I don't
Danny
know.
Can't find a picture. It doesn't exist. Yes, Dan?
Well, I think I have her Facebook, but it's like a group shot, so it could be like any one of them.
Never.
Yeah,
good.
I'm not her friend, so I can't see her other
Never
pictures.
good. A lot of girls out there get group shots with their hot friends, and then you just assume that they're one of the hot.
I'm just going to assume that
Yeah.
it's probably not good because I noticed that group shots and animals are usually a big fat slob.
Yeah.
So.
When all the girls' pictures are animals.
Yeah. When your profile picture is a cat, you're a fat, ugly bitch.
God damn. That is so fucking true. And look at all of my pictures, and there's 22 pictures, and there's like the beach and a cat and fucking a car. You're just like, that's not good.
I just see it all the time. Anytime like there's like a new, friend request and it's just like some dog head or. Because it works the same for guys, too. It's not just women. Well, no, I'll accept it, but then I'll look at the rest of their pictures and go, oh, of course,
Now it makes sense.
Of course you accept. You want all the friends as possible.
Well, yeah, but you also got to
up.
make sure and say, because you have a bet with yourself that this is going to be some ugly fat person. So now you need to just make sure.
Put them in a special category, that's all. All right, can we, I got to take a break because I want to eat my eggs and ham here.
It smells good, too. I want
they're
some
not
ham.
even green.
Relatively healthy.
I want to see what she looks like now. She was actually nice.
Yeah.
I liked her. I liked her, man.
She held
Wouldn't
her own.
that be interesting if you two kind of, got together?
Interesting for me, depressing for her. She's probably like this young, hot college student. I'm in my 40s. I have a girlfriend.
Yeah, that could be
I want to
bad.
hang up when I said what kind of movies you want Hollywood to make for women, but then I was like, Jimmy's in the middle of this. I can't do that.
Yeah, no, because she wasn't being.
That was my hang up.
She didn't merit being crappy. She was
right?
being nice.
All right, quick
Oh,
break.
that's her?
Eyes closed. Oh boy,
Yeah,
what is
she's
that
pretty
about?
good. It's a nice picture.
That means she's got a funny eye.
Which one is she in this picture then?
She's got to be the frump.
Yeah,
on the right.
look.
The
Wait.
The frump dress.
Hang on.
She's got to be.
Let's see.
She's not the fucking ginger.
All right, let's pop this
Yeah,
up.
see, look, because if I go back, hang on.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All
All right, dark hair, fair skin.
Very fair skin.
So-
sort of an oval-shaped face.
So then we go to the Facebook. That's got to be it right
That's-
there.
that's
With
her.
the frump dress.
See?
Oh yeah,
That's her.
put your
Yeah,
mouse.
look.
No, it doesn't work like that.
She's the frump with the big rump.
Let me see. Open up the page.
I can't. I'm not her friend.
Can't you just make it bigger?
I'm not a friend.
I mean, I could do this if you want.
No. All right, you guys continue. I gotta eat.
You can do that.
Yeah, she was nice.
Just want to see if she... Well, yes, of course she was nice. But as men, we just want to see what she looks like
are
for
very-
how shallow we are.
Well, no, men are visual. Everyone knows that.
Yeah,
And then
it's
you hope they have-
we're very visual. Okay.
And you hope they have the personality to back
all
up
right,
their
let's
tits.
see.
That's-
Right?
Is that her? You think?
It's got to be. She doesn't look like. She doesn't look like any of these other ones.
Wow.
Hard
Who,
to
who
say.
looks like they write for the feminism blog in this picture?
All right, you make a good point. Maybe it's just her sticking out from the sun. No.
It's hard to say.
I don't know. It's probably old boy haircut. What do you think, fellas?
Oh, boy, haircut. That dress is atrocious.
Yeah, I'd say the dress is not. She probably has a nice little chubby hiney under there.
You
She's
like
probably,
the big rump?
I do, yeah.
Underneath there? You
That
think
might
that's
just
it?
not be a good shot of her because that woman in that photo looks older than like a college age.
Yeah,
girl.
yeah. What the hell's going on there?
I want to
don't
get Facebook request her.
know. Yeah, why don't you do that?
I want to be a friend.
I don't want to be a friend to a feminist. All right, let's go wee-wees and eat.